So there's been a lot of kerfuffle about ISIS, ISIL, the Islamic State, and American military action. I don't have a huge problem with military action against ISIL. In fact, there are some things about it that I think are very good. One reason I don't have a huge problem with it is that you can't go to war with pirates. Not officially, at least. This is a lot like the Barbary pirates. To the shores of Tripoli. And I understand that there were debates about whether the American Navy should get involved in North Africa with the Barbary pirates 200 years ago. I don't think it's outside the pale of what is permissible to the American government. And the Islamic State may call itself a state, but it is not yet. It is still a pirate gang. If a very large, rich, well-organized, and dedicated pirate gang. I also have absolutely no objection to a healthy crusade. Da-da-da! Charge! Jihad and crusades, they're two very different things. Islam has been the aggressor against Christianity, against the Christian West from the beginning. All the battles fought between Muslims and non-Muslims, the vast, vast, vast majority were fought in Europe. And let us not forget that the entire Middle East was Christian once, and that the Crusades were supposed to be, and often were, missions to save and protect Christians. Christians need to be saved. Yazidis need to be saved. Innocents of every stripe need to be saved. Now, whether it's wise or not is another thing. Going to war in the original sense of the word, not the approved by Congress sense of the word, against pirates or jihadis, the slayers of women and children, against enslavers, against killers of Christians, is absolutely fine. Then there's a question of legality under international law. If the United States is going to be fighting pirates, where will they be fighting pirates? Where will airplanes and soldiers be striking? In other countries, not our country. Assuming that Iraq and within Iraq, the semi-autonomous Kurdish government permits combat by American forces. What about Syria? Syria is not like Somalia. Very recently, American forces carried out a special operation in which they attacked a large group of terrorists, targeting a particular one in Somalia. Somalia is sort of a lawless land. There's not really a state that we can deal with. As much as they might be unsavory, Syria is still a state. They still exist, kind of, sort of. This becomes the first problem. Can we strike at ISIS in another state without its permission? We need a declaration of war from Congress if we're going to do that. Now, for some it might be enough to chase ISIS from Iraq, as lofty and ambitious and difficult a goal as that is. But that's not how we think anymore. We completely disregard international law. We see someone we want to kill, we send in a special forces team or a cruise missile. We have been ignoring international law and our laws in this war on terror. We've been ignoring it for decades. We don't declare war when other states are involved. For once, I think we actually have a legitimate situation in which we would not have to declare war. We're fighting pirates. We're fighting an unrecognized army. But it's meaningless because we've not been declaring war forever. I just sort of wish we could stop talking about spreading democracy as if it were some sort of gospel light. I wish we could stop talking about being a republic. We are a democracy now, not a republic. We are a democracy ruled by elites. This democracy is effectively an empire. That's okay. Well, it's not okay. But I can come to terms with it. I would just like us to be a little more upfront about it. And you know what? It's cool, because in 100 years, we will be. Meanwhile, if Christians and many others in Iraq and Syria are saved from these pirates by American action. Praise be to God. Whether the sword of America is like the sword of Assyria or Babylon, or, like a lot of Americans seem to think, it is the sword of Christendom, well, I suppose we can let history be the judge. Good night, y'all.